Okay, so I got this letter from the Super Awesome Science Academy, and they said I could totally become a member if I solved the riddle. Now, I sent it to you guys last week, but I am recording this moments after I recorded the last video, so I haven't gotten any help from you yet. I might need to, though, but I'm looking forward to diving in. Okay, so this is the little blurb that they gave us. Align the planets from the center outwards. The solution may be elementary for most, yet only periodically is it done correctly. Now, elementary and periodically, elements and the periodic table, that's pretty obvious, along with beryllium, which is an element on the periodic table. Let's take a look at the periodic table. There it is, and beryllium is number 4 on the periodic table. So I'm assuming the number 4 works into this somewhere. Now the first part of this says align the planets from the center outwards, which, you know, is fairly straightforward. So why don't we start with that? Okay, so from the center outwards, do you know your planets? Okay, so there are letters in the planets. So I assume we just write down the letters if we go from the center outwards. So the sun is first, so that would be O, and then it would be Mercury. Mercury is here, which is H, and then it would be Venus, which is V, and then is the Earth, which is E, and then it's Mars, which is M, and then Jupiter, which is J, and then Saturn is S, and then Uranus is U, and Neptune is N. A lot of these have the same letter as the planet, except for the sun and Mercury. Oh, and the moon. I missed the moon. Moon isn't a planet. I wonder if I'm supposed to catch that the moon isn't a planet. Well, okay, if it was supposed to go on here, it would be hard to know how you put because the moon goes around the Earth, so sometimes it's closer to the sun, sometimes it's farther away from the sun. So what order that goes in, it would either be on this side of the E or on this side of the E, I guess, then. Okay, so what does it say? It says, Ovmjson. Or it could say Ovkemjson. None of that makes any sense to me. Now, here's an interesting thing. Why is the moon and Mercury and the sun, why are those ones the only ones that don't have the right letter of the planet? This part's it's got me stumped. I have to admit, it's got me a little stumped. So let's move on to this other part. This one says beryllium, and then it says symbol number. Okay, so beryllium is on the periodic table. The symbol for beryllium is Be, and the number is 4. Be 4. Hey, wait a minute, B4. Ha-ha! That could be something, but maybe not. Who knows? So 27, 15, 68, 28, 29, 16. I suppose I could try dividing these numbers by 4. None of these numbers divide by 4 very well, though. But I could try. Okay, here comes the math. Math. Wait a minute. I'm doing this all wrong. I don't know why I decided to divide by 4 instead of just using the numbers as the numbers. I should probably just look up these numbers on the periodic table. Okay, we're gonna start again. Okay, so we got beryllium, and we know it's 4, and we know that might actually spell B4 because I dig that. Now we've got 27, which is cobalt, so that would be CO. And then we've got 15. 15 is phosphorus. 68, erbium. That's an element we don't encounter very frequently in day-to-day life. Erbium. It looks like it might be working. Let's see, 28, nickel, Copernicus. Oh, I think I see where this is going. I'm guessing that it spells Copernicus. Let's see, 29 is, yep, Cu, copper, and 16, there it is, sulfur. Copernicus, right on. So, okay, this is really awesome. Copernicus is the guy that realized the Earth goes around the sun. It happened in, I think in the 1500s. I'll have to look it up. Here's the Wikipedia page that I will pull up later. But basically, he's the one who realized that the Earth goes around the sun. Before that, everybody thought that the sun went around the Earth, which makes sense because that's what it looks like, right? The sun comes up and it goes across the sky and then it goes down. And he was the one that realized that we're actually spinning for each day, and then, you know, within it, the Earth goes around the sun. And he also figured out, if that's the case, where the planets were. So yeah, before that, they had a very different idea of what the solar system looked like, which makes sense because it says before. It says before Copernicus. Before Copernicus. Haha! So what did the solar system look like to people before the 1500s? I don't know. You know what? Why don't we look it up? Cool. I'll bring this up right here. Look at this. Okay, so Earth in the middle. Oh, look, and the moon is on there. And Mercury. And then Venus. And then the sun. And then Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. Haha! So first we're gonna start with the Earth, which is E. After the Earth is the moon. Then we're going on to Mercury, Venus, the sun, Mars, Jupiter, and then Saturn. Neptune and Uranus aren't on here because the telescopes at the time, I don't think we're strong enough to know that those planets existed. I think we're gonna leave those off the list. ECHVOMJS. It still doesn't spell anything. Before Copernicus, we got that far, and we've ordered the planets. Here's a moment of desperation. I'm just gonna Google Equimogus. Nope. All right, you know what? This may be it. This may be the moment where I throw it back to you. Why don't you give it a try yourself and see if you can get any farther than I have. The link for this will be below, and in the meantime, subscribe to find out how it goes. Maybe you're from the future and all the videos are already up, and so you can just go from one to the other instead of having to wait agonizingly for a week to find out what happens. Well, for those of us in the present, that's where we are. I'll see you guys next week. This video goes out to all my science friends on Patreon, like Ethan and Jack, Liam and Lexi from Singapore, Toby, and Theo and Ainsley from Portland, Oregon. Thank you for your support.